Hey everybody, this is Dr. Suhaib Chaudry, and in this video I'm going to talk about how I created and why I created this YouTube channel that now has thousands of subscribers and over 1 million views. And I wanted to talk about how it came to be. And it all started in medical school as I was a medical student. And just to give you some context, I used to go to classes and spend all of my free time studying. And on the weekends, when my friends and other classmates and colleagues used to be out enjoying and doing things, I used to be in the library putting in hours and hours of grinding work. And I was disciplined and really had a fire burning inside of me to achieve something. And that's why I devoted all of my free time to learning medicine, to learning all of the subjects and topics that were being taught in medical school. And shortly after, I realized that I was pretty good at teaching things. And what I would do is really that I would get out of the class or classrooms for the day, and I would really spend a lot of my time teaching my classmates and my friends. I would be sitting with my friends afterwards, and I would be going over concepts of physiology that they couldn't couldn't catch inside the class, or things they had difficulty understanding. And I did that a lot. I would draw, I would explain things, I would help them. And this is in addition to my own studying that I had to do. And I spent a lot of time teaching my friends. And I think that helped me a lot, because if you can teach something, you know that topic very well, and it'll help to reinforce it and help you to understand it. And I think Albert Einstein used to always say that if you can teach something simply, that means that you understood it well. And shortly after that, what I did is I became a teaching assistant at my medical school for physiology and a couple other subjects. And what that really started off was basically me offering to the students in the class and classes below me is, hey, I'm going to be in this classroom after school, after class, and I'm going to be teaching about this and this topic. Whoever wants to show up can show up, and whoever wants to learn, I'd be happy to help them. And I think I always had that helping nature inside of me. I always wanted to help people and help others around me. I could not stand to see people struggling. I could not stand to see people fail at something because they didn't have the proper resources to learn. And so what I would do is I would gather people together, and we would all get into a room together, and I would start teaching them concepts. I would start teaching them things about basically physiology. And I never had an outline to my talks. I would know my material so well that I would just really openly just teach concepts to people, teach things. And the crowd grew, and more and more people started showing up to these teaching assistant lectures, and more people caught on and heard of this guy who was just teaching people these things that were very helpful. And I think one of the best things that I did at that time was I was able to connect the dots. I was able to connect concepts. I think that medical school and a lot of the schools, what they do is they segment out topics and categories. There's physiology class, then there's pathology class, and then there's pharmacology. And I think not a lot of people, not a lot of students were able to integrate these classes and topics and concepts together, because in the human body, physiology doesn't have its own house, and pathology doesn't have its own house. Biochemistry doesn't have its own limb, and pharmacology doesn't have its own cell, right? It's all combined and intertwined. I think that's what I was doing, is I was teaching people in a way that they hadn't been taught before. of this segmented approach of all of these topics and subjects. There I was teaching people, hey, listen, this biochemical reaction that you're seeing here, well, this happens because of this pathology, and this pharmaceutical agent, this drug, is going to have this impact on it. And as I was teaching, I was realizing, hey, I'm pretty good at this. I feel like I'm really good at teaching people because I can explain it in a way that people understand. And I teach concepts. Factual information you can memorize, but that will not get you to becoming a successful doctor or anything in life. And I think that a lot of people spend time memorizing, and that is true, a great degree of learning that takes place in school. But I think understanding concepts, it was very, very important. And I think physiology is a dynamic situation. Lung compliance, pulmonary compliance, and pulmonary mechanics, and cardiovascular dynamics, these are all moving things. They're not stagnant. They're not still. And this is something that I had a problem with, because we were being taught with textbooks with stagnant pictures and things, whereas the thing we're learning about is a moving concept. It's a dynamic concept, yet we're trying to learn it with a graph or a chart or a still object. And so that's something that really fueled me and led me to then further my educational outreach. And so I started tutoring people individually, even and I started teaching people more and more. Over these years in medical school, I realized that, I felt that I could help a lot more people. And what I did then is I started making videos. I started, drawing out these concepts and started teaching people and started posting these videos for free for anyone to benefit from, for anyone that they can learn from it and help and be told and taught things that other people weren't telling them. Because you know what? When you go to medical school, there will be hundreds of people and forums and places to tell you how it is, how it's going to be, and what you should be scared of, and what's this and that, and it'll fill you with fear. It'll fill you with confusion. And I wanted to make something that would help people understand the concepts, the physiology, the things that will help them get to where they need to go, to help them get really good scores on the USMLE, to help them get really good interviews when they're applying for residency, to help them get really good jobs ultimately, to help them get really good careers ultimately, to help them fulfill their pursuit. And I was tired of seeing people around me fail and really not do well because of the lack of quality and type of education they were getting, and that it wasn't just good enough for them. They were not able to connect the concepts, and that really fueled me and led me. And then I made Marvel Medicine, this YouTube channel, and I was posting a lot of different lectures and videos and different things about concepts, compliance, paradoxical embolism, all of these things that are not meant to be understood as single textbook pictures, but yet through explanation, through visuals, through all of these things. And I got a team together, and we made animations, and we made all of these things and made these videos. And I'm here now, 5 years later, 6 years later, after completing my anesthesia residency at the University of Connecticut, after learning regional anesthesia very well, after working and spending some time out independently working as an anesthesiologist, and even further to starting our own anesthesia practice, Chaudry Anesthesiology. And now I'm here in a very unique position to bestow and share my experience, my knowledge, my unique understanding of this pathway, of this entire career, of this entire field, and all of the things related to it. And what you'll be seeing more and more of is my videos of me explaining these things to help people understand things. And you'll be seeing more of that. And I'm really excited to share this, and I'm really motivated, and I feel that it'll help a lot of people. So thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for supporting.